Hello friends, coming to you from the square spiral garden on a very humid August day here. I've gotten into the garden a little bit today and done some work. Still fighting the little monsters that get into my grape leaves. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're dangerous to eat, but they ruin my grape leaves, so I strip the leaves off when these dots appear. Most of the work that I did today was with a pair of clippers because little trees grow up all the time and I have to come through every once in a while and cut them down. This was a red bud that was growing right here. Of course, the job of weeding never ends. I'm thinking after the video today I might work on clearing out this bed here, and I'm thinking that, the taro might do better closer to the house. There's some over there as well. It has not enjoyed this more exposed location. It gets the north wind here, even though I cover them up really well with compost every winter. They've not thrived here, so I'm thinking they might do better in a more protected spot. And then I want to move the cannas over to this location. That's something I'm thinking about. All this I'm thinking needs to get pulled up. It's this is something that I should be able to make a tea out of, but because it's located here next to the driveway where the cars have polluted the ground, I can't use it for that. I use it sometimes as a smoke screen to get rid of bugs, but that's it. Well, here's one of our successes. Finally, our cosmos is blooming. It's not quite as tall as me, so it's definitely had a difficult year. We're continuing to see damage from deer who've come in and eaten the tops off of my amaranth. They've also eaten the tops off of some of the buckwheat. Where was some of it? But you can see a lot of the buckwheat is still doing fine. That's some deer damage there where they've eaten it. But a lot of it is doing all right. And I made another discovery today that made me happy. I had transplanted this out of the yard. This is an edible weed that I'm not sure if that's the same thing. And I'm not going to remember the name right now, but it came back. Even though I double dug this bed, even though I've got grass growing in here, and this is the grass that I'm trying to see if I can cultivate eventually because it's the wild millet. It's called foxtail, but that's actually wild millet. So I do let this grass grow. But yeah, there's another one. I want to call it jewel weed, and that is the wrong name. So yeah, weeding. This is the weed compost pile. Did some good weeding today. I might be a little bit tempted to come in with a weed whacker just to get the grass out. Blueberries doing well. Or doing okay. They're doing okay. Ooh, there's another one I missed. This stuff, I guess I'm going to fight it the rest of my life. But something I thought I would work on today also is I've got pokeweed well out of season because it's a early summer, late spring kind of thing. I got pokeweed coming up from seed where Inky dropped seeds, and it's not quite purple yet, so I'm going to pick this and eat it for lunch today. Here's another funny story. I came out to bury some compost and I had completely forgotten that I double dug this bed, and the shovel just sank into the ground, and I was like, oh, the ground has never been that soft. And then I noticed the sparkle of it's not mica, what is it? Vermiculite. And I was like, that's right, I double dug this bed and put vermiculite down. And then my loofah is really thriving. Look at this. It's really starting to grow. I don't know. It's August. I don't know if it will get to the point where it can fruit, but I'm hoping so. Let's get that up off the ground, shall we? Look at those leaves. Aren't they adorable? So that makes me feel a little bit better, like I'm not a complete failure this year. Asiatic daylily. It's a really, really beautiful little weed that you may remember from some of my previous videos. I allow this to grow in places where I don't have plans. It will completely and totally choke everything in its path. But it comes up very easily, very easy to pull up by the roots. It holds moisture in the soil, so it's in a way it can be a little bit beneficial to grow. My biggest problem is that it resembles the smartweed that I'm trying to allow to grow. So it gets a little bit confusing, and they're both growing in this bed, but when it blooms, it's very clear, because that is the Asiatic daylily flower, and that is the smartweed flower. So pretty clear which one's which. I think sale of this has been disallowed because it is so invasive. So I thought you might like to join me today and harvest a little bit of pokeweed. Now, pokeweed is a plant that becomes toxic after a certain point. So this is not something that you take up without knowledge, but it's been used for thousands of years by the First Nation people. And the secret is you harvest it before it turns purple, before the stalks turn purple. See how it's purple, starting to turn down there, but it's not up here. You still need to boil it twice and drain the water both times. Oh, there's one little tiny one. And that destroys the toxic components in the leaves and drains them out. Little tiny ones. Like all greens, it takes a lot to make a small amount. So I'm picking all of these. You know what? The stems are so soft, I don't think I really need the scissors for these. Now this is a weed that I don't need in my garden, and it has gone to seed. So I'm going to throw that where I walk so that I will step on it and destroy it. Oh, my husband's mowing. We have an electric riding mower. So it sounds like a giant fan. There he goes. It's really nice having electric because it means you're not breathing fumes as you drive around. I'm going to walk around the other side because I was starting to have to step on. So we've got a bunch of little ones over here. Oh, don't dump out the basket. So, yeah, my thing seems to be wild crafting. I have a hard time getting traditional plants to grow in my garden. And of course, now that I'm on the other side, I see that guy. So I've learned more about the edibles that grow and I say edible, and I think that means something different nowadays, about the, is there another word than edible to use? Wild, I guess the wild food. The wild food that grows in my garden has provided me a lot more than what cultivated foods have provided me. It's a little frustrating, but, you know, aren't we all on a learning curve? Oh, there's one more. All right, so now I have a basket of lunch. I'll probably see if we have any chicken or turkey that I could that I can use with this. Eggs are also traditionally cooked with it. So you boil it and drain the water, and you boil it again and drain the water, and then fry it. And you know what? I just realized there's another loofah here. So there's the one we put up earlier, and I planted 8, and there's a second one here growing under the marigolds. Aren't they pretty? I love the marigolds. All right, well, thanks for coming with me today. I'm going to go get ready to cook up some pokeweed for myself. View of the garden with the mower in the background. And I hear thunder in the distance. I think my husband's trying to race the rain. All right, be well, y'all.